a Nigerian fintech startup, which is like a bank, a digital bank for small businesses, has not for a few months now has not been able to release customers' funds that were deposited in on the platform. And news came to fore this week that the reason behind it is because the startup couldn't raise funds. Now, it created a lot of conversation earlier in the week, and I'm like, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? I know it shouldn't be the ideal that a bank is not allowing it's not allowing you to take your money. But what's like the specific like uniqueness to this particular case? So Joseph.
Well, I mean, the brass situation is tricky and it's worrisome.
Okay.
It's this is a fintech that offers business banking services to small medium
Businesses.
businesses, and so what it means is one, it's holding deposits of, based on the story, around 80
Businesses.
businesses. So let's just imagine that one business out of the 80 has say 10 employees or maybe more. So that's compounding it. That's one. Two, it says that they're having withdrawal delays because of a funding environment. That's also very, very worrisome because as a bank, one of the major functions is the deposits, right? The money that is being deposited into that bank are customers that or business owned. Like it's not the bank's money. And we know that sometimes banks maybe as their normal function, give out loans, do some treasury, does do some things
Is
to
this
bring.
CRR that they call it?
Cash.
Cash reserve ratio.
Yeah, so they do
That's-
some businesses with the money to hardly increase how much they can earn. You get, and then some of them might say, okay, for that you're banking with us, maybe charge some fees, electronic fees, and all kind of fees.
But for every time the customers need their money, they should be able to have
exactly.
access
So
to
you can
it.
charge your fees, you can do the loan options and all of those other things. But I mean, every time that I need money, I should be able to get the money back. And then these are 80 businesses that are hanging on the thread. And then the reasonable excuse that is given by the CEO of Braz is that there's a funding winter. It doesn't relate to the problem. But aside from the fact that that's happening, there's also a customer care issue whereby people that are trying to get their money cannot even reach the customer care. And this is a fintech that is without borders. So I don't know where the office is. And so people are held in a limbo.
And
while that's
like
happening
that.
as well, then you now have staff cuts. The company announces that it's going to cut staff. We don't know how many it's going to cut. So I mean, this is a quagmire in 3 dimensions.
Reputable, piece.
And it's worrisome because it highlights that this is a problem beyond just. You have staff cuts, you have customer care issues, you can't give customers their money. This is a similar situation we have seen before in the fintech landscape, showing how difficult it is to do business. One of the most important things about Brass is that it shows, if you look at the conversation, it shows how difficult it is to do business as a fintech. I mean,
in Nigeria.
if you look at some of the explanations that the CEO gives, it says that, you need to raise money. Why that excuse is worrisome? People might not believe that because they have right not to believe that. The other part is that it also says that to actually run a fintech is capital intensive in a way. So these are some of the takeaways from what that story highlights.
So just like in the previous month where we've been talking about layoffs and shutdowns, some startups have come to say that they had to shut down because they couldn't raise their next round. And so would we be saying that in this particular case of Brass, why I'm asking this is that I need to understand why it stands out. Would you say, okay, let's say the operational expenses for a startup, like the startup has to run and it needs money to operate, and mistakenly went to take customers' money to do operation, and at the time the customers need it,
It was not available.
it was not available. What is like the implication to that? Like, okay, say we can't run. Okay, let's say we cannot run to the optimal. Should we just say, customers, come and take your money? It's as if I don't understand where we are going to right now. Let's try to find our footing. Probably raise fund. Then we get back in position. Or what will have been the best move in this situation for Brass? Tim Gozim, you.
Okay. I'm trying to understand the question. But maybe what I understand is what should they have done when they were
Struggling.
Okay, so first of all, I think they were, from all the issues they're having, which is following staff, having difficulties with customer withdrawals, points to two things. One is that you're not making enough money. Two,
You're not having difficulty with customer withdrawal, like it's a tech issue.
Yeah.
Like there's
I
no
know
money
that.
to
So
give
they
them.
are
Because
customers
that's
are
the way
not-
it is.
Customers are not able to access their funds.
Okay.
So two problems here. One, you're not making enough money,
Mm-hmm.
which suggests that you are actually okay. So maybe your business model it hasn't gotten to the scale where without you raising external funding,
Can survive.
you can survive. So I think Brass supports about it. I can't remember the exact number. Either 300 or 3,000 businesses. So what you're probably doing for them, I know they have quite a number of products. They have a payroll feature, which I don't know how much that has taken off, considering that there are really large players in this space.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem with fintech is you often have to, if you're not giving out loans, you often have to make your margin, like, okay, so you're taking out, maybe 1%, 0.5% or something like that
Mm-hmm.
of each transaction
These
that is
transactions,
made.
yeah.
A business is unlikely to make as many transactions as an average individual. I'm not paying for Uber every day, so
Mm-hmm.
I probably make a few large transactions in a month, and that's it.
Yeah.
So maybe I think one problem is that they were not making enough money, which is not it's not a new
fault of
problem,
the-
or
yes.
it's not a big deal really,
Mm-hmm.
because anybody can be in that situation.
Mm-hmm.
But where the problem now is, I have made the deposit, and to the best of my knowledge, Brass is sort of regulated. They acquired a microfinance bank. And,
License
Yeah, I
No,
think
a bank.
they acquired
Okay,
a
the
microfinance
bank,
Finance
okay.
bank to
Yeah, so
to get
you-
the license.
yeah.
Okay.
So you are regulated, and there's a reason why you can go to your bank almost any time and ask for your money.
Yeah, and they don't give you. You can
And,
scatter the
yeah.
place, even if it's 2K.
Well, you cannot security to bond you out. But yes, there's a reason why you have that confidence. I go into the bank, I'll get my money back. You may not
Mhm.
know it, but your banks are insured, or your deposits are insured.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my hope is that the customer deposits were insured, which means that to a very large extent, Brass should be able to fulfill every customer request,
For withdrawal.
because all these customers did not come to you at the same time. They couldn't have possibly come for you
Yeah,
at
I
the
think
same time.
they've been having issues like November or so.
Yes, so they couldn't have possibly come to you at the same time. It's virtually impossible
Mm-hmm.
for all your customers, except there's something in the environment that makes.
But they are planning a bank run.
Yeah, and unlike Silicon Valley Bank, where we saw people give instructions, basically telling people to go withdraw their money, we did not hear any
Yes,
instruction of
True.
that sort. So you cannot tell me that
they came at
they
the
came
same
at
time.
the same time, which now points to a problem in how you're managing your funds.
Mm.
I'm not a banker, but I believe that if I'm serving businesses with technology, I should be able to see when they move when they move certain amounts of money
Mm-hmm.
the most. I should know that, okay, between the 24th and the 30th, or maybe 31st, or
A
if
lot
there's
of people transact.
yeah, you are going to be paying staff salaries.
Mm-hmm.
I should also be able to know that, okay, maybe I have a lot of supply chain guys, so at least every 2 weeks or so, or maybe even every 6 weeks,
They
they're
move
making
money.
very large transactions to suppliers.
Mm-hmm.
I should also be able to know from this data that, okay, there's a certain threshold that my money can never go below.
Yes.
Because you have money for operations
Yes.
because of customer deposits. I think the problem here is either they were unaware of how to run a banking institution, because let's face it, this is a bank.
The
And-
startup is like 4 years.
Yeah, think about that. You either you did not know how to run a bank, or you made some mistakes somewhere.
Or
That's just-
oversight.
or an oversight. That's just
Or maybe a raise was in the offing and it was
A
so
raise
close.
was
not. It should,
I understand.
I don't know
I'm
the
not-
last time.
I'm not
No,
making
I
a
don't know the
case.
last time that.
I'm
sorry,
not making a
going-
case.
No.
See-
Yeah, I know you're not making a case, but you should not. You're a deposit taking institution. You should never say you should never hinge your abilities to fulfill your responsibility to your customers on a raise. You're not a payment facilitator.
Yeah.
If you're a payment facilitator, I can say, okay, no wahala. You what the 1.5% you're making isn't enough. Customers are not exactly depositing money with you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just I collect money from this person, I give it to this person.
Yeah.
I don't know, plus or minus 3 days, I collect money from here, I give it to this person in a few days. If you're a very terrible payment provider, maybe 1 week, the money has left your account. But
Yeah.
this one, someone is giving you money.
When they're saving with you,
So what there are a few things that banks do. Either they are investing in treasury bills or investing in some kind of instrument that gives them. What are you doing? So maybe I should be asking, do they have a CFO, for example? Because this,
Maybe, yeah.
do you
That's
have
a
a
good
CFO
question.
who was handling your treasury management to ensure that you're not? Because let's face it, you don't have any excuse really to be in that kind of situation. You don't have any
There's
excuse.
one question we also need to ask, right? So I'm sorry to.
Yes, please.
So, what? And the question is it possible that Brass can survive this? I'm asking because one, it's a business that has to do with a lot of trust, and I'm sure that by now,
Most of the customers.
yes, a lot of people will not want to trust you, especially and my own trust. I won't even trust that company again because if you tell me that
It's my money you're dealing with, bro.
yes, because
not
if I'm
house.
depositing money with you and you're telling me the reason why I can't collect my money is because you're not able to raise, I don't think I want anything to do with you ever again. So, is it possible
To
that
survive
Brass comes out? Like, are we? Is
So-
there a shutdown coming?
Possibly.
Because immediately you
Possibly.
can access your money, what's the next thing you want to do?
Sorry. Maybe I should help them here. If I'm the one, make your tech 40 for the next 3 months. I'm sorry if your money is there. I'm just giving bad advice. Don't take me serious. Make your tech 40 for the next 3 months so that people are withdrawing their monies in batches.
It's-
Maybe in that time you repair your reputation. I don't know how long it will take.
It makes
I'll be
it
like-
get worse.
I'll
As
be like
long as
Patricia.
I can't.
Tell them they were able to get their money in 5 years.
Yeah, no, you convert it to brass tokens. How did that guy call it?
If we should stop this joke.
So I don't know. That's
Seriously,
another option. You can convert.
this-
You can convert their money to brass tokens. I'm not giving you financial advice. If you like this, nobody should go and say that you are giving them advice. But you can convert their money. But really, can they survive it? It's possible. The major problem with banks is that yes, they deal with our money, but I think the only currency that they have is just the trust. So if you've lost that trust, it's difficult.
But it's not
Yeah.
impossible.
But it's not possible. Yes. So
Probably
maybe what you
do a town hall
Egg.
and
You
invite.
know somebody that did town hall and nothing has come out of that town hall today. Names shall not be called, but people know them. Somebody did town hall, multiple town halls that you could not see nothing from till today. But anyway, I think they can fix
this
their
reputation.
reputation. If you maybe let's say well, the story is that they could raise some money in the next few weeks. So if you properly communicate to your customers, okay,
This
fuck
won't
up,
happen
oh.
again. It won't
Yes.
happen again.
Maybe even if your CEO has to like go on his personal call with all the 80 businesses and say, look, we have sharp fuck up. We would
Forgive
fix
us.
it. Forgive us. Even if he has to kneel down. Because really, banks
This
will
is
struggle to
why
pay you.
our parents would never want to put big money in fintech
Well-
because that is the claim they make. Like, I know that these banks, there's nowhere they want to run to.
Yes.
I think this is a masterclass in communication. I think what Brass
Mhm.
missed was a masterclass in communication. To just add some context, maybe some people actually forgot. Last year, around June, I think Techpoint published it as well. Heritage Bank had issues with funding, with granting this kind of request to Heritage Bank was having issues with customers' withdrawals.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, people were worried. Like, people were very worried because, like, some people had gone to the bank to start staging protest. It was actually that bad. People were going to more or less take out their money out. Like, people were people were complaining. Because I got some personal complaints because I was actually aware of the situation and I was also doing some stories about that. And what the bank really did was it came out and began to issue, its customer care began to work like much more effectively, issued a few statements. At the time, and if I remind us, what they said was that someone stole 49 million from Heritage Bank, right? And that was all over the news everywhere. And then for some reason, the bank began to allow people to withdraw their money, but then was also countering it to some communication, like making public communications, making this. And after some time, everything began to subside, everything quelled, and people now use Heritage. You understand? So I think for Brass,
and I think Heritage Bank has a green, so Brass also has green.
I didn't think that deep.
Yeah,
No, they
so
have a very good,
I think this is
and then-
it's always a communication thing, right? Anything you're bringing tech into, you need to be able to open up and communicate with different
Even if you're not
companies.
bringing tech,
Anything you are doing, businesses have been in situations, not very terrible situations, and they were able to talk their way out of it. Like even after fixing it, I'm not talking about the ones that talk their way out of it and still did not fix it. They were able to talk their way out of it and still fix it. So we hope that Brass is able to fix this and the company survives this challenging period.
To listen to the full episode of this podcast, visit podcast.techpoint.africa or search for Techpoint Africa Podcast on your favorite podcast platforms.